Hi everyone, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining our webinar today. Welcome or welcome back. If you've been here before, then you know how this works. If you're new here, hi. Cambridge Spark. Every month we're going to have different webinars on different apprenticeships and products. Today we have a very exciting one actually. Before we actually start, I would love to know where everybody's from. I am joining from Coventry today, and it seems to be a very lovely day outside. So I'm a bit sad that I'm inside, but where is everyone today joining us from today? Ooh, from Cambridge. I see. Oh, joining from Paris. Okay. That is lovely. Where are you joining us from today, Raul?
Cambridge.
Oh, nice. Wow, a lot
I
of
think Paris wins, though.
yeah, I agree. uh, all right. Oh, wow. Wonderful. So many people from so many places all over the UK and from abroad. That is amazing to see. We will kickstart the webinar in maybe about minutes, and I hope that's okay. Um, just to preface and just like a bit that I want to tell to the audience. If you have any questions throughout the webinar or otherwise, please do drop it on in the chat section. We will try to take it up towards the end of the session. Um, yeah, I think we have a lot of people ready to listen to us today, Raul. So I think maybe we should kickstart the webinar today. All right. So, everybody, thank you once again for joining us. Today, we are going to talk about leading in the age of AI, which is a very exciting topic. And yeah, for that exciting topic, I just wanted to introduce our very exciting speaker who is joining us today, who is Dr. Raul Gabriel Urma, who is the founder and the group CEO of Cambridge Spark and the host of our Data and AI Mastery podcast. I'm sure some of our viewers would have listened to it. If not, it is a definite that you have to listen to because every single listen is truly amazing. So, yeah, to say a bit about Rao, he is a PhD holder in computer science from the University of Cambridge, and he also has an executive education from Harvard Business School. And my most exciting fact about Raul is the fact that he is an author of several best-selling books, with Modern Java in Action being one of them. Thank you so much for joining us today, Raul. Would you like to say a few words to our viewers about what they can expect from today's webinar?
Yes, thank you, Kartika. I'll get started. Am I the presenter now? All good?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay,
I
beautiful.
will quickly pop backstage then and let you take the controls for the webinar today then.
Thank you so much. What a delight to be here, everybody. Thank you for joining. Clearly, the space of AI is creating a lot of attention, and also, what does it mean for your managers and leaders, which are the topics we'll be covering today. Now, if it's your first time with Cambridge Spark, welcome. Delighted to have you on this webinar. If you're already a client of ours, thank you. Great to have you again. So Cambridge Spark, our mission is to help your workforce be successful in the age of AI. It's such a transformative technology that impacts everyone in every sector. So what we do is to help your people have the skills and the confidence they need to succeed, and along the way, deliver ROI back to the employer. That's really important. So that's what we focused on. Now, today, a bit of an agenda. What does it mean to be a leader in the age of AI? What are the expectations? What are the skills? What do you need to be successful? How can you help your team, your reports be successful? Those are the type of questions we'll be tackling today and also offer a solution for it. So we have a new level 5 AI Leader Apprenticeship available that is there to support your managers and leaders with the right knowledge, skills, and confidence. So those are the topics we'll be covering. Now, buckle up, everyone. This should be a lot of fun. So let's kick off maybe with a bit of a history. New York is a cool city, let's be honest, right? So this is a picture taken from 1900 on Fifth Avenue. What you can see here on the left-hand side is technology adoption before and after. So on the left-hand side, what you see is a lot of horses, carts, right? So there's only like one automobile here in the red circle. If you fast forward a decade or so later, you see that technology adoption has worked. There's only one horse cart here in red, and everything else is automobile. What does that tell us? Technology can be transformative, and also it takes time. It took a decade here for us to see adoption of the automobile, granted, particularly here in New York. So what's the reality today? You know, like I was kind of like thinking through this. Imagine you're a leader back in 1900 and everyone's talking about like automobile is the future, it's going to be disrupting. It took 10 years for this to be fully adopted, right? So you kind of got time to think it through and see it coming. Today, things are very different. This is a chart that takes a look at ChatGPT's weekly active users. And take a guess how many days it took ChatGPT to have 1 million users. Any guesses in the chat? Oh, someone is definitely going to ask ChatGPT the exact question. All right, we've got some guesses. Let's see. Okay, well, the ballpark is absolutely right. 5 days, first million users. A couple of months to get in the hundreds of millions. So not a lot. And if you look at this chart here, we're talking about weekly active users. We had 800 million weekly active users less than 3 years after ChatGPT rollout. So imagine that, right? You're a leader in this environment, you know, technology adoption is happening at a complete different scale and complete different pace that's ever happened before. So that's the challenge that you're having to deal with. The risk, the anxiety, what to do, those kind of questions. Now, why are we all so excited about AI? Well, fundamentally, a couple of years ago, there's been this leap in performance of the technology. It's now on par or better compared to human capabilities in certain fields, like understanding language, like image recognition, like speech recognition, and so on. That's why we're all super excited about it. It can do things that we didn't think it could do before, and it's right here, right now, and it can do it better. At the same time, on the right-hand side, you can see the investment in AI is skyrocketing. So obviously, that raises the question of what should we do about AI in the organization? Perhaps even further, who should lead the AI efforts, right? So on the podcast that that was mentioned, the Data and AI Mastery podcast, I interview global leaders and board members in many organizations, and every board right now has moved on from what are you doing about AI to show me the money with AI, straight to the CEO. So raise the question, should the CEO lead the AI effort? Should the CTO? Should the chief AI officer? Should the CEO? Like who should lead the efforts? Now, to answer that question, it's worth deep diving a little bit into how is AI adopted at the moment. And I love this graphic because what it shows you is that there's a big widespread of adoption of AI across every business function you can think of, from marketing and sales to customer service to HR to risk management. AI is not the responsibility of one person, one business function. It's across the board. And that's what's fundamentally fascinating and also challenging. AI is everyone's concern. The companies that are making real progress with AI are making AI everyone's business. So as an example, just this morning, I was talking to a global CTO of a publicly listed company. What they've done is to set up an AI committee that brings stakeholders across every business function, from legal to finance, to technology, to sales, to marketing, HR, and everyone is tasked to think about how can AI help reimagine the department? How can AI help reimagine the value they're creating to the external customer and internal customer? So really the point here is that effective AI leadership, you really need to include people across every department and business function. It's everyone's business. Some organizations adopt the model of having a chief AI officer, which is a great idea, right? Ultimately, you need an executive sponsor that you can hold accountable. However, the main point is those companies that make success out of AI and get ROI have stakeholders across every business functions on that journey. So then that leads the question to you all here on this webinar. How do you equip leaders? How do you equip stakeholders to feel confident about what they can do with AI and how they can guide the teams on that journey? The problem is leading in the AI area is tough. Like it's really hard to be a leader today. Uh, Several reasons, right? Like one, your team is already using AI more than you are. Let's be honest. And this is demonstrated by ChatGPT consumers usage, right? Like from a consumer point of view, AI is widely adopted. So chances are your direct reports, or if you skip a few levels, they're already using AI more so than you are. So what should you do about it? How do you responsibly guide your team in that environment where they probably know more than you or have been like playing around with things that you're not even thinking about? Secondly, it's creating a lot of anxiety. It's raising questions around what are the skills that you need to be successful in the age of AI? What does it mean for jobs? Should we reskill? Those are the type of questions that you will have to conduct with your team and your direct reports and help them on that journey. So how do you translate what is anxiety, fear, uncertainty into opportunity? That's your role as an AI leader. Thirdly, as I've mentioned, there's so much pressure coming from the board or executive committees around delivering ROI from AI. So it's moved on from tell me what you're doing about it to show me the money. What P&L impact can we expect? Because other organizations are doing it. Other organizations are seeing benefits. We don't want to be the last one at the party, right? So there's a lot of pressure and expectations of ROI. And finally, it's moving so fast. Just this week, OpenAI released open source model. Anthropic released the 4.1 Opus model. You know, every week, every month, there's new updates. How do you keep up? How can you make the right decision in an environment that is constantly changing? So I pity all the leaders, the team leads, the team's manager here. It's not an easy place to be, right? However, waiting is not an option. Failure to plan is planning to fail. So that leads to the question of, what does it take to be a successful AI leader? What can you do about it? There's a few characteristics that one might want to consider, right? One is there's an expectation of ROI. So you need the right skills and mindset to help you reimagine your business. That might be your service line, that might be as an organization, that might be a business function, that might be in your team. How can you identify those use cases and places where AI creates real value? It creates customer delight, not just minimal improvements, not just let me just give you access to ChatGPT and for sure you'll be like more productive, right? That doesn't cut it anymore, right? Like how can you like truly reimagine the service, the experience, and the delivery of what matters to your business? Second of all, as I've described earlier, you're going to need to bring people on a journey. So how can you build that network of AI champions in your organization that's going to be empowered as those change agents and drive change, innovation, and culture in the organization? And that's really an important point. The successful organizations today that are successfully adopting AI at scale, they're all building a network of AI champions internally that they're nurturing and celebrating the success of. If you're interested more in this, we actually have a level 3 AI champion apprenticeship that looks at individuals in different departments that are going to help others so you can have a sustainable and organic internal adoption. But you're going to need managers that can support that effort. Thirdly, being a leader, you have to be responsible. You're looking after people, but you're also looking after the business. So how do you navigate this landscape thinking about governance, thinking about ethical use of AI, thinking about security, thinking about compliance, especially if you're in a highly regulated environment? You need to understand the full spectrum so you have a good understanding of risks. And finally, how can you augment yourself as an individual? How can you use AI as a co-pilot to challenge your thinking, adopt new ideas that you might not be thinking of? So using AI as a sort of partner, right? So you also need to be confident using those tools on a day-to-day. And there's an expectation as a leader manager that you're modeling behavior, right? How can you tell others to go and adopt and use AI if you're not doing it yourself and you don't believe in it? So you also need to get on that journey and feel confident about it. So that's really what it takes. Now, you can also think about what does it take in terms of a broad set of skills that are really defining today. And I've written about this on the blog where you can read more about it. But broadly, I like to think about it as sort of 5 buckets. One is now more than ever, you need to move fast, do more with less, be agile, be commercial. That's really the entrepreneurial mindset. That's a key skills today that is going to help organization really successful. The second one is you're having to learn every day, right? Like actually learning is no longer a nice to have that you do on the side. It's a critical part of your job, especially in an environment where things are changing fast. You need to keep up with new technology, new cases, best practices. How do you go about implementing your organization? So this ability to learn, that's a very important skills. And those organizations that are the most successful are those organizations that have a learning mindset and are ring-fencing time for their workforce to learn. Critical thinking. We live in a world where it's really hard to believe what's happening. We talk about hallucinations as an example. We talk about mistakes that AI tools can make, right? The output is not always right. So now more than ever, you need to be able to validate ideas with real evidence. And that's critical thinking. Now more than ever, you're dealing with data as a result of working with evidence and you're working with AI. So how can you be fluent with the new tools? And finally, systems thinking. As an example, if you roll out a company-wide ChatGPT license, what are the ramifications of doing that? What's the impact on training for the organization? What's the impact on usage? How are you going to monitor that? How certain high-value use cases is going to be delivered? There's a lot of ramifications here. So how can you have this mindset of problem solving as part of it? Now, I really like this conversation I had with Dave Treat. So he's the CTO of Pearson, who I interviewed him on the Data and Mastery podcast. And I asked him, what's the single most important skill in the age of AI? And he said, learn how to learn. Critical thinking trumps specific knowledge in a constantly changing world. Things are going to change. We just need to accept that and at rapid pace. So be able to learn fast and be able to challenge what's right, what's wrong. Those are critical skills as a leader you need to have. Now, you might be thinking, well, surely I can wait. Everyone's really excited about AI. There's a bit of skepticism around ROI. Let's just wait. Anyone remember Blockbuster? Really, in a high velocity technology environment, wait and see gets punished. That's the end of that story, right? We all know what happened to Blockbuster. They failed to understand the trends, they failed to pilot, they failed to invest in what's new, and as a result went out of the business. So you can no longer just wait and see what others are doing. You need to start building the institutional knowledge. You need to start thinking about how such a transformative technology can be useful for you internally, but also add value to your customer. And one of our clients, Lloyd's Banking Group, really truly understands that. And what we've been supporting them with is how to equip the top 300 most senior leaders with the skills, the knowledge, and the mindset to lead with AI, reimagine the business in this environment. So here what you can see is a post from Renil, the Chief Data Analytics Officer at Lloyds Banking Group, who's the sponsor of this initiative. So Lloyds has identified that in order to be successful, we need to model behavior. We need to train all our top executives to be fluent with AI so they can drive that culture of innovation broadly in the organization. Now, if you want to find out more about the specific engagement and how Renil thinks about the opportunity, I've also interviewed him on the podcast. And one of the key takeaways I got from our conversation is that there's a need to balance augmentation versus reimagination. So in an environment like that, you definitely need to show ROI, incremental improvements, sort of improvement in a business process, a bit of automation, and you can influence KPIs like time to resolution or cost involved in delivering a specific task. That's incremental improvements. But you also need to figure about reimagination. How can we reimagine what the mortgage application experience looks like in the age of AI? Now that we have conversational AI, now that we have reasoning, now that we can have an AI in a pocket on a mobile phone, what experience looks like? What can that do for the business? What can that do for our customers in terms of delighting them? You got to do both, and you got to do both at the same time to make progress. Now, there's plenty of research out there conducted by many, many global consultancies that, back all the claims that I've made, so far on these webinars, lots of challenges. In order to deliver successful AI transformation, it's really about change management. You got to equip your leaders all the way to the top. You also need to equip your frontline workers with the skills and the culture to succeed. You have to focus on business outcomes and you have to do it responsibly. Now, what we're seeing is a huge investment in technology, lots of AI investments that is not paying off because people are not ready. So if you want to succeed, you have to fundamentally think about your AI transformation as a workforce empowerment initiative. So this leads us to the question of how do you equip your leaders for success? And what can you go and do yourself? What is the solution? So at Cambridge Spark, we've launched a program to help upskill your managers and leaders with the skills and confidence they need to be successful. This is a level 5 AI Leader Apprenticeship that is entirely funded through your existing levy contributions. And really, what this program does is to tackle all those concerns I've mentioned before. How do you translate vision into action? How do you help your managers and leaders reimagine their business function? How do you translate investment into ROI? How do you do it responsibly? How do you build AI literacy for yourself as a leader, but also for your team and your wider workforce? Fundamentally, that's what this program is tackling. And what makes it really special is we've spent a lot of time brainstorming with our clients and employers to really build a very flexible learning solution that combines a range of modality. We appreciate that when you're a leader of a team, you're busy, your time is precious, so we have to really work around your schedule. So as part of this program, you'll get access to short master classes tackling technical topics so you can stay up to date with what's happening in the industry. The program is focused on ROI, so you get to reflect on what you're learning and applying back in your business. We deliver MBA style of learning, combining short live classes with group activities, reflection, and self-paced learning. You'll get access to award-winning platform Educator AI, where you can work on business scenarios. You get a lot of personalized support, and you also get to network with a really interesting crowd. When you're a leader, you often learn from your peers in other industry, other organization, or even internally, but across different teams, right? So you'll get access to an AI Leader Summit hosted in Cambridge. So you get a really residential in-person experience. Now, in terms of curriculum, this is what you'll get exposed to. The program is 12 months plus EPA, a few hours a week of time commitment to learn and reflect. And I'll go back to this in a moment, but you can see we've built a curriculum to be really comprehensive and help you build the acumen needed from AI foundation, AI literacy, towards a toolkit to lead in this environment. How can you make better decision making? How do you support people? How do you highlight possible incremental improvements, like Renil mentioned, focus on operations? But how can you also reimagine the customer experience and add customer delight? How do you drive change management? And how do you do it responsibly with responsible AI? So those are all the topics that are covered through dedicated modules. Each module combines live classes, group activity, and self-paced learning. Now, what you could expect as a time commitment, again, we understand that you are really busy. So we've done our best to make it as flexible as possible. So in a given month, you can think about 15 hours that I spend on expert-led workshop, your coaching session, your mentorship session, and group mentoring. And the rest is work-based learning. This is where you're learning on the job by applying what you learn in your business, delivering on the AI strategy, delivering on those high-value use cases, and supporting your teams to be on that journey. I do recommend you check out Educate AI, our learning platform. It's really built for real-world hands-on practice. You'll get to reflect on a variety of business scenarios across different sectors to help you reflect on how you apply this back in your business. And you always have instant feedback. Now, who is this for? Well, this program is designed for mid-level managers that have management responsibilities and responsible for operations. So operational responsibility in any industry. What's key here is that your employer is committed to help you as a leader grow and step up in this environment. Now, as an example, we've had apprentices across every business function, from sales to marketing, operations, supply chain. Remember what I said earlier, AI is everyone's business, it's everyone's concerns, and there's lots of research data to back this up. So you can come from any organization and any sector and business function, but you do need to be responsible for managing a team or a business function to get the most out of this program. Otherwise, we do have other apprenticeship programs that go hand in hand with our level 5. You have a level 3 AI champion program or level 4 AI transformation specialist. And we see that the best ROI is when you combine those three together because they target different segment of your population. This is an apprenticeship program, so there are eligibility requirements. You need to be employed in England. That's really important. You need to be able to apply the skills that you're going to learn in your job. Your employer needs to be committed to time for learning, and you need to have support from your manager. So those are kind of like general apprenticeship eligibility requirements that you need to expect in order to utilize your levy. Wonderful, everybody. I can see the chat is buzzing, so I'm going to pick up a few questions, but thank you for listening. If you're interested to learn more, I've left you here with my email address. Please feel free to personally reach out to me, and I'll help you and point you in the right direction with my team. Very happy to connect on LinkedIn with my name. There's a QR code here where you can get more information. Our next cohort is kicking off in October, and I can tell you there's a lot of demand. So if you're interested, now is a good time to reach out. Thank you, everyone. I'll pick up all the questions, and feel free to ask any, and I'll stick around. Okay, so first question that I can see from Sarah. Yes, the importance of having an AI champions network, right? If you think about it, you're going to need change agents that are going to spread the word, spread the good news, and help their peers get on the journey and understand what's in it for them. For that, we have a level 3 AI champion apprenticeship. You can find those details on our website as well. And we have a previously recorded webinar that goes through those details. Question from Cynthia. Yes, this is an apprenticeship program, so it's only available for those employed in England. However, Cambridge Spark, as an organization, we offer a range of education programs. So we work with multinational clients offering data literacy program, AI literacy program, or even executive education, which can be funded through your L&D or transformation budget. So we are very happy to support. A question from Alison. How does this relate to the level 7 AI and data science apprenticeship that we offer? Now, our level 7 data science in apprenticeship is really about driving technical innovation. So how do you implement machine learning models? How do you embed that in processes and products? So you need to think about training, testing, validation. You need to work with code. You need to run analytics. So that's really technical, so very hands-on. So typical roles are data scientists, machine learning engineers, and so on. The level 5 AI leader is a good place if maybe you'll be managing a team and you'll be interacting with data scientists and machine learning professionals. So very different segment of the population. Level 7 is fundamentally technical. It's about building and implementing and deploying AI solutions. AI leader is leading in the context of the age of AI. Wonderful. Question for Keith. I like the integrated AI governance committee approach. Did something similar with our clinical governance in healthcare. Yeah, great point, Keith. And it makes sense, right? If AI is so fundamental, it's a business priority, you need to hear all the voices and have all of them on that journey. So setting up a governance committee to assess the opportunity, make sure it's done responsibly is very important. So Karen, do you have start dates? Yes, the next cohort is in October, and we have a cohort every couple of months or so. So the next one is in October. Question from Paul, which apprenticeship standard is this covering? So if I go back to the curriculum slide, this is offered through the operations and department manager level 5 standard. Hopefully I've answered your question, Paul. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, I think that's it on the questions, everybody. It's been a real absolute pleasure. Please get in touch, and we'd love to support you on your journey. Thank you, everybody. Take care and speak soon.